from the World Cup, my first major tournament that I won from 2005, and I was playing against Gurevich, and I was playing black. He's a very solid player with very typical repertoire for solid guys. Quincy to Nemtsovich. Something I also played a lot. A3, bishop c3, queen c3, b6. Knight f3, bishop b7, bishop g5, and d6. This is somewhat of old-fashioned approach to play with black, but I analyzed this for black and white, and I always like this kind of maneuvering play. Knight d2, white is trying to play for f3, e4, c5, d takes c, bc, e3, knight d7. My opponent had many games in this line, and I analyzed a bit the line that he was playing, and I liked the ideas that black can have of active play. He went f3. Bishop d3 is also possible, because taking here is a bit too risky. Bishop h6. But this is more of a safe approach. I went rook e8. With this move, I'm basically saying that I'm going to play with d5. So he went bishop d3. I went queen b6. This was something I looked at before the game, and I felt it's interesting to play like this with d5 and d4, e5 if I can. And so bishop h4, very logical. d5, bishop f2. Now I cannot really play d4 too soon, and white is just preparing to castle and maybe play for b4. And I played here a5. And now he made a mistake because he's not well developed in this position. b3 ended up being a mistake, which I more or less thought that might happen, because it's very natural to stop a4. But it was necessary for white to play castle, a4, maybe something like a rook d1, you know, and try to maybe bring the knight to c3. So approach a slow, take the slow approach. This was necessary. But instead, he wanted to get everything possible for him, because, of course, if white manages to castle, this is a much better version of all of this, because he can now just start trying to improve his knight instead of trying to get rid of the blockade. But now, of course, I started playing very fast. I went a4, b4, and e5. Now he castled, and now I played a typical idea in this position, which I want you to try and find.
So I would look at e5 and e4 and e4.
Mm-hmm.
So to see if gain some extra space brings me something.
So d4 we can consider.
Mm-hmm.
If I take, how are you going to take?
Yeah, if I take with d, I also have to see b takes c5.
But if you take like this, then I'm thinking that these pawns are a bit annoying, because you don't have an immediate idea. And if you take like this, also I think rook b1, and maybe this structure will collapse.
Yeah, because you're already there.
So d4 is not so good. But taking into account that I played a4, I should have, of course, had something in mind, because it's a very committal move. Yeah. So here.
So maybe also one idea could be to open everything and to use the rook very fast.
But he takes with the knight. So it's kind of a typical idea that often occurs in this type of lines. We want to open up our pieces.
Yeah.
And at the same time...
I would like to move e4.
And takes.
And then I can also bring the knight. Or I can even take on c4 maybe.
Yeah, this is a correct idea. Because if you take like this, well, you haven't achieved anything. Your bishop is passive.
Yeah.
I will come out and it's not clear what you achieved. But if we take like this, what we're achieving, the bishop gets a lot of air, and queen has a very nice square. And it immediately makes an impact. So this is what I played. I played e4. Now it was of course possible for him to play something like bishop e2 and try to play like this. But black has a very comfortable play, because I have... he needs a lot of time to come out, get some activity. And I'm already, activating all my pieces. But he took, I took, knight c4, queen e6. And yeah, here it was better for him at least to play b5, knight e4, queen c2. It's a bit passive, but he does still have some trumps, because his position is kind of solid. Now he can maybe slowly come bishop e1, rook c1, just stay solid. But being unprepared for such development, because it's back in the day it was a bit shocking that you just played b3 and then you get a4, e4, dc, and suddenly things are not looking good. Yes. Queen e6. He went bishop g3. I took. Bishop e4, queen e4. Rook f2. Took this one. It was, of course, important to play a4. Doing this immediately, the knight would be too stable on c4. If we look at this position, yeah, imagine if white had a pawn like this.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
White is very active and things are looking good for him. Yeah, I just took. Queen b4, sorry, bishop d5. Now if knight d6, I just take and take on e3. He went rook d1, queen c4, queen c4, bishop c4, rook d6, rook e3, rook d2, h6. The position was kind of still possible for white to survive. Some difficulty, but he didn't manage to survive, because I started creating some threats, bishop c6, and yeah, g4, g6, g5. And yeah, I won this game and I won the match. And I got to, I think, got to the finals. Yeah, the main lesson of this game is that you have to know this type of typical ideas, both for white and black. And if your opponent has played rook e8 and d5, most likely he's going to play e5 and e4, and b3 is a very committal move. sometimes you just have to accept that you cannot really have everything under control, and just develop and try to play a different game. And in this game, my opponent wasn't flexible. He wanted to get everything the way it's typical for this scheme for white, but I was just too fast, and I proved his strategy is wrong.
Hello there, and let's hope everything works. Audio, video, all of those things. This was recorded and is live now. For a second there, I thought, yeah, looking at the stream right now, it seems like it's not as glittery as I was hoping / afraid of. As I was fiddling with the scenes in OBS, this shirt started like. I looked for a second there as if I was, a Christmas light all on my lonesome. It seems like it's sort of all in order. Happy New Year, everybody, and this is the first Sparrow Chess stream of the year for me. The format will be as usual, all the people challenging me on the website. This part of the stream will come in about an hour. As usual, we'll have a little bit of a conversation about mic is a bit fuzzy. Yeah, we can probably deal with that. I can get it in shot because I was recording. I've been recording this whole week, and for the recordings, the mic needs to be out of the shot. So that's the reason. And now you can probably hear the barking. So that's the big news in the Svidler household. We now have the barking simulator running around, which is awesome, but my Wi-Fi is not the greatest, so normally I need to stream on a wire connection, and the wires are currently covering basically half the floor in the flat. So if at any point there's an F, the F probably will be explained by the fact that dog ate my LAN cable. So yeah, I'm getting the dog ate X excuses in early. Is this the Peter Svidler podcast? No, the Peter Svidler podcast is not the thing yet. I feel very ashamed because Miro I think was very serious about that, but it might happen in the future. For now, we're just we'll talk about things for a bit, and then I'll solve some puzzles with you guys, and then we'll play. Peter borrowed the shirt from Levon. Yeah, it does actually kind of look like a Levon type shirt, doesn't it? It's very on point in that respect. To be honest, it was just kind of lying around, and I didn't really want to to open the wardrobe to look for anything else. So this is my normal way of making dressing decisions. Just find something that is easily accessible by hand. Look at my shirt. Yeah, I mean you don't have a choice. You'll have to look at this shirt for 2 hours now. It's Christmas now in Russia. It's 1 day after, I think. We have now had all the Christmases. No more Christmases for us. So yeah, this is how things are. If there are any topics apart from the shirt, obviously, I feel like now we are doomed to be discussing the shirt for the rest of the stream. If there are any topics apart from the shirt that you want to talk about, now is the time to raise your voice and ask me. The furry thing was also the reason you had to skip the tournament, in part because we got him very, very close to the tournament, and obviously, I've wanted a dog since I was about 7, and I'm 45 now, and this is my first actual dog, so obviously I'm very excited, and I don't want to leave him and all that. But there was definitely a healthy dose of that, but I also, I think I did a little bit too much doom scrolling in the run up to the World Cup in Blitz, and I suddenly felt that with the way the schedule worked and the family dinner on the 31st, because for us Russians, I mean not for everybody. I'm not going to talk for the entire country, but the New Year's Eve is the big celebration, and I felt that if I went, I would be getting off the plane like 6 p.m. on the 31st and immediately joining the family dinner. And that seemed like, with all the people there who probably don't want additional health complications I could be bringing into the house, it felt a bit meh to be going, so I chose not to go. Who won the dog against Roomba? I wasn't home for it. Unfortunately, I was doing other things, and I was sent those pictures by Olga. Olga said it was a draw, but I think Roomba won, honestly. I think, Roomba appeared to be entirely untroubled by the fight, and the dog was completely shagged out by it and slept for the rest of the day. So I think Roomba is declared the winner on points. Are you feeling relieved about the chessable work having an end in sight? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the course will be fine, and I think I also will feel a lot better having put it to bed and not having to, obsess about deadlines and things. Is that the 7.9 times Russian chess champion? That's a very interesting arbitrary number you've chosen there, little chess nut. Let's go with yes-ish. If we had more time, I would perhaps inquire as to why you are taking away the 0.1 from me. But the easier answer is just yes. What are your plans in the new year? Not many, honestly. I might be doing some commentary. I might be playing some online chess. But all of that is slightly up in the air right now, so I'm not going to announce anything just yet. What kind of dog? We got a king poodle. He's going to be a big boy when he grows up, and he's growing up so quickly as well. Like when we got him, he was, I think, maybe like 6 kilos, and he's been here 3 weeks, and he's now, I think, 11-ish. So yeah, he's gonna be a large, chunky boy. Any New Year's resolutions? No, I don't do that. Because I know they will last about a week. I think that's the whole point of New Year's resolutions. I've actually watched the stream earlier today where, hi Ego Waffle, if for some reason you're actually watching this. And Ego was also saying that basically the point of New Year's resolutions is to, fool yourself for about a week about things that you would like to happen in your life, and then you obviously break all of them and feel slightly ashamed, mainly ambivalent, I think. So no, I don't think there are any. Tata commentary is one thing that might happen. Are you playing video games? Yeah, I'm playing video games non-stop. It helps me, procrastinate more efficiently. I think that's their main purpose. So it's fulfilling that purpose very admirably. What is the dog's feeder rating? Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't been taught chess yet. 20 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution not to make New Year's resolutions, and it's still working. You are a better man than me, and I knew that before, but this just confirms it. Anyway, since we don't really have any particularly hot topics to discuss, we could probably start solving things while also perhaps, as usual, going on weird tangents. Somebody asked me about the Ashes. I'm not actually watching the Ashes this time around because of how depressing it is, but I am obviously following the scores. Like if I wake up at 5 a.m. because the dog starts, trying to dig a tunnel under our bed, I don't know what he's trying to find under our bed. He does like digging under there. The good thing about that is that very, very quickly he will no longer be small enough to fit there, so that will stop. But for the time being, he is very much in favor of trying to dig into the floor, specifically underwear received. So if that wakes me up at 5 a.m., I pick up the phone and I check the score and I kind of nod to myself and I close the phone and try to go to sleep. I did watch the start of Boba Fett. It's watchable. I mean, it's very much my type of thing. It's like a kind of mindless bubblegum, which also very much helps procrastinate vision. Anyway, chess. The bed is somewhat concerning. We have reasonably solid floors. I don't think he'll succeed. He does make a racket. The issue is not really the tunnel in itself, but the construction noise that the tunnel produces. Any of the board plans for 2022? None so far. Like, absolutely none. I expect I will play some chess in the year of our Lord 2022, but I don't know what chess. So yeah, let's switch to a different scene and start talking about solving some studies. For today's studies, I was kind of prodded in the direction of solving some material recorded by Vidit, and there is some stuff in there which I took a brief look at and thought I will just not be able to solve that, but we'll get to that in a moment. We'll start by this 5 puzzle set, which is themed under promotion, which is a bit unfortunate, honestly, that you know that the theme is under promotion, because I think it helps you solve. But judging by the first one, which I have seen on my screen for a while now and has in the meantime solved, they will be quite cute, quite nice to solve. And for those of you who are wondering what this website is, because we do get this question every time I stream on this channel, this website is kasparovchess.com. It has a wealth of very, very instructive and interesting material. There are unique interviews with Gary himself, and Gary is also recording some chess content. And there is an absolute wealth of material if you want to learn chess by a wide range of very strong players, and also players who know how to present material. And I could show you how to navigate here, but it might break up my overlay, so let's not do that. And just say that if you go to the home page of kasparovchess.com, you go to Learn, then you go to Lessons, and then you can choose sorting by level, sorting by author, sorting by themes. And this is, as I said, a lesson set by Vidit. I chose the Expert Strength because I think they are quite nicely suited for solving on stream. And as I mentioned, the theme for this set is under promotion, which is a little bit of a hell. Are you white? I assume you mean in the position, because you can probably make some guesses as to whether I am white or not white moving in the street. You generally, I mean, normally the side which is at the bottom starts in position like this. And also, if black is to play in this position, black will just take on 5 here and the game will finish. So it's a safe assumption that we're playing white here. And people have suggested queen d8 check. You can actually see the text on the screen. But for those of you who perhaps are watching on the phone and can't read the very small text, it says white has a pawn down here, but he has a threatening pass pawn. Does he have anything better than giving a perpetual? And you do have an obvious perpetual with either queen d8 or queen a8 check, and then back to d5, and you clearly have a draw here. But the question is whether you have more. And people have already suggested that probably e6 wins. And it's not really very difficult to spot the idea of playing 5 or 6 here. The question is what happens after you play e6. I could put the position on the board, but then it becomes a little bit more simple to solve. So I want somebody to actually give me the entire line. And I will explain to you, sort of the way to approach it is, you get to this position very quickly, right? You play 6, black pretty much has to take on f6. We play 7, discover check. The king will go somewhere, probably to h7. And then, if you imagine this position, we have a pawn on e7, there's a king on h7, and there is a very strong threat of queen f2 check, which is probably not made, because I think we have queen g2 very important, so black cannot really give mate to our king very easy. But black has a very easy perpetual check using the squares h4 and f2. So just getting the pawn all the way to e8 will not win us the game, because queen f4, queen f2, queen h4, queen f2, queen h4 will make a very, very comfortable draw for our pawn. So you have to figure out a way to play around that. And yeah, there's the first correct solution in the chat. So once that appears, I will just show you what the solution is. e6, queen f6, e7, king h7, as I mentioned. And this is really the only difficult move of the entire puzzle, in my opinion, because I think it's sometimes kind of tricky to see long moves backwards. Specifically, we're trying to attack on the king side. We're trying to, do something against the black pieces on the last two ranks, and making a move, such a long move backwards, sort of away from the scene of the action, is not often very easy. But it does win because we lure the king to g7 here, and then we can finally utilize the promised under promotion by playing e8 knight, winning the queen on f6, and win the game. And of course, I was kind of trying to not make the solution easier for you by not even mentioning the move king g7 here, which would of course also require us to play e8 knight. But as I mentioned, the trick about solving this puzzle from the starting position is seeing the move queen h1 check. The idea of e6, e7, e8 knight is not difficult, but queen h1 check is a tricky move. And there is the first question: what is this website? If you are leveling, it's a very nice level, and I appreciate you. If you're not leveling, this is spirochess.com. Very, very useful tool for anyone who wants to learn chess, and also there's plenty of just straight up entertaining content on there, which you will very much enjoy as well. Try not to promote and then try solving this. Yeah, that's going to be tricky, but I'm not sure I can. I think I'm actually unable to break this puzzle, because it would take me a bit to find where the automatic promotion is. What rating is the material aimed at? I'm never very, very solid on those numbers. Like, those numbers have been posted in chat. Maybe we could ask the mods, because I think the mods know. I think expert is like 1800 to 2000, maybe, or maybe 16 to 1800. And for the potential second set of puzzles we would solve, I think I chose master, which is one above that, which is either 2K 2200 or perhaps 1800 2K. We has mods? Yeah, we definitely has mods. Even I am a mod, but I just don't know the answers. Even though I have seen the answers on my screen more than once, which is my brain refuses to process them for some reason. What is rating anyway? Gukesh is not 2000 yet in rapid. Yeah, that is just so hilarious when there is this, like, whenever somebody organizes, it will stop in about a year, obviously. It's not going to be a perpetual thing. There you go. We do have mods, and they do have those things on tap. So this is expert, so this is 2K 2200, and master is actually above 2200. So I've chosen the ones which are kind of tricky for this session, but I'm sure we'll get there. But yeah, talking about like, whenever there's an over-the-board tournament in India, and all the young kids are playing, and they just have not played any over-the-board short time controls, because they're so young, and those tournaments just don't happen very often. And then you see, like, somebody like Prague, rated like 1850 or something, when he is quite clear like a 2650 strength player in all formats already, perhaps stronger, who knows. It's just so hilarious. Like, you play him and your expected score is 99%, and you're just gonna get beaten by him like half the time. So yeah, it's a very fun distraction to watch. But as I said, like it will stop. It will stop very soon because they will have played enough like World Rapid and Blitzes to get the proper rating, and they will no longer be sandbagging people. Are you going to commentate on Tata? Possibly. I can't really say definitively just yet. Anyway, next exercise. This one I should know it. Because I feel like this will end up being the classical Barbier and Saavedra study. And I think I've... Hang on a second. How does that work? I've solved it now. It's kind of unfortunate that I immediately recognized what the final position will be because of how famous it is. And then you can sort of, for me, solving this problem became basically a retro-analysis problem. I no longer really need to solve the problem in front of me. I am solving a different problem. I'm solving a problem how to get from position A, which is this position, to position B, which is the one that I know, because when I was taught this study, it started slightly later. But apparently it starts here, which I wasn't even aware of. So let's try to solve it together. Let's go move by move. First of all, obviously we would like to win our pawns, somehow get them to the promotion square, but currently b5 is hanging. We cannot protect it properly. Knight c3, rook takes c3 doesn't really do anything for us. So you have, and also our knight is hanging. If we play knight b4 here, they can take on b5, and if you play c7 there, they can play rook c5. Almost entirely by exclusion, you can come to the idea of playing knight c1. They go rook d5 check, and in this position, hang on a second. I was actually expecting something else. I'm a bit weirded out by this. I expected rook takes b5, honestly. c7 rook d5 check. It's interesting to me that this is what is happening. Why not take the pawn? This is actually going to be very upsetting for me because I think rook takes b5 should be the move here that the engine chooses. And then the solution is very beautiful. I know what the solution is, and I was assuming this is what the engine will ask of us. But now I'm a bit confused after the check. And the problem with this is that I cannot actually make the move rook takes b5 here. It just wouldn't allow me to make moves for the black side. So we cannot actually proceed to the position I wanted to show you. So let's solve this one first. Can we play knight d3 here? Is obviously, this being a study, you kind of want to play knight d3, but I don't think it works. I don't think it works here, does it? Knight d3, rook d3, king c2. What is black's counterplay against that? Rook d6, maybe we are in time to run up the board. I'm actually very, very confused. It really should have been rook takes b5. It's unfair of the program to make me think here. I very much resent the fact that it's making me think. And I'm also very much annoyed by the idea that I cannot show you how rook takes b5 is refuted. Let's try playing knight d3. Honestly, I just feel like we should. Okay, that did not work. I assume we cannot go to the c file because then, hang on a second. Can we? This is all very, very confusing to me. If we go to c2 here, Machine can take on b5, and c7 rook c5 check works, but we can go knight b3 check there, and then c7. Yeah. But mainly, I'm just in a complete brain fog right now, because I was expecting just to show you one of the most classical endgame studies of all time. I think it's dating to, I have a feeling like early 1600s, maybe even earlier than that. And instead, it's forcing me to calculate, and I feel betrayed. So yeah, not enjoying this. I think it's actually is king c2, because if we go in this direction, if we go king e2, it can take on b5, c7, rook b5 check, and e8. So I think it has to be this direction. And now, why isn't king d2 winning here? I'm very confused. Okay. It's actually like very intent on proving I'm an idiot somehow, which I do not appreciate. King d3 rook takes b5 cannot be the solution, right? Yeah, so we go forward. And now it takes. Interesting. We have to go c7. Ah, very cute. And then we actually get back to the same position. Okay, everything is forgiven. This is very, very beautiful. And we get to show you the exact same position, but from a different side, which is, I'm okay with this now. So, I did not see this defense at all, but the point, of course, is that if we take, it's an under promotion study, though. This is making me sad all over again. I mean, we should play knight b3 check here just because it's so beautiful, but yeah, we can take with the bishop and just win. But I'm really hoping it's knight b3, because there the solution is very, very cute. I'm going to complain to the management. I'm going full Karen about this. I'm going to complain to the management, because you really should be playing knight b3 in this position. And the issue is not only that it's asking us to play this, but also that the way the puzzles are programmed, not structured, but programmed, is that I cannot show you this. I can explain the solution to you. It doesn't work. Yeah, it has to be on the D file, right? Okay, yeah, this is just unpleasant. Let me try to explain to you what the solution I wanted to show you is. If black takes on b5 here straight away, I will actually make you see through this explanation blindfold, because if you haven't seen this, it's actually a study that might help you sort of later in life. Imagine black takes on b5. We go c7. Black gives a check from d5. Now, if we go to the c file, rook c5 check, and rook takes c7 is of course very strong. And if we go to the e file, they go rook e5 check, e8 to c8, just as I outlined earlier, and that also solves the problem for that. So in that position, we have a pawn on c7, there's a check from d5. We go knight d3, taking away the c5 square from the black rook. They take on d3. We go king c2. Now the position is, our king is on c2, we have a pawn on c7, the knight is gone, the rook is on d3. Seems like black just has to resign, because the pawn will become a queen next move. But black in response goes rook d3, d4. And in that position, if we queen the pawn on c8, they play rook c4 check. We take the rook on c4. And we have a king on c2, queen on c4, and this is a stalemate. I know it's a known study, Holly, but I suspect there will be somebody here who doesn't actually know it. So I'm using this opportunity to perhaps show it to some people who might not be aware of it. So in that position, let's clear the stacks again. Our king is on c2, the rook is on d4, there's a pawn on c7. And in that position, somewhat stunningly, we win by playing c7, c8, rook. not queen. Creating a threat of rook a8 mate. And the way the pieces are positioned, the only way for black to stop the idea of rook a8 mate is to play rook d4, a4. So now the position is, we have a king on c2, rook on c8, black has a rook on a4, everything else is gone. And then we play king c2, b3, attacking the rook on a4, and also creating a threat of rook c8, c1 mate. And that double attack actually cannot be parried, and black resigns. I think it's I know it as a Barbier Saavedra position, or at least this is what I think it's called, but I'm not 100% sure. And the moment I saw the original position, the moment I saw this, the very, very start, I thought this is what we're going to be seeing on the screen. And I was not at all aware that this kind of a subplot existed. And I kind of badly wanted to get back to the 9-3 check, but it doesn't really work here. More puzzles, yeah, we're getting more puzzles, don't worry. Yeah, I think Saavedra was a priest, yeah, Dominican priest or something. I think it's Googleable, but I'm pretty sure I saw that as well. It was Man of the Cloth. This position, once again, looks like we are very, very easily winning, because we can just play d7, d8, check from f6, or check from h8, and then take on a1, right? And this pawn ending is just completely winning for us. And this is how you fail to win this game, if you don't stop to think what the potential counterplay can be. If you put a queen there, black will play a1, we will give this check, black will take on b3, we will take the queen, and then we will, to our disgust, realize that the king on b3 is stalemated. So you should put the bishop on d8, and then give this check, and in this very same position, the bishop on a1 doesn't actually stalemate the king on b3, and black resigns. People are saying it's called the Stairway to Heaven position. I can believe that. It wasn't called that in my childhood endgame books, but they were Soviet books, so they probably were very keen on pushing the whole religious imagery. Next exercise. This one was kind of, there we go. There we go. I feel very, very stupid now. Yeah, solve this one, chat. Yeah, this is funny. There you go. Even gave you a simpler version. It basically, I'm pretty sure that we're solving puzzles instead of listening to the lesson. One thing I will say about this is I'm no longer conducting management. I'm switching off the Karen mode, because I'm pretty sure what happens in the lesson, and there is a video lesson to go with this, delivered by Vidit, is that Vidit shows you the first study. The second study. And then he shows you both variations. He says, there are now, after knight c1, there are now two lines, both of which result in an under-promotion. And he shows you the one with c7 takes b8 bishop first, and then he shows you this one. It's just that the way the puzzles without the lesson are structured, that I was molding here a little bit. Why under-promote? Because if you put the queen on c8 here, black goes rook c4 check, queen takes c4 is absolutely forced, and the king on a1 has no squares. So you absolutely have to play c8 rook here. And the final one in the set is this one. I think I've seen this. I have a feeling I've seen this position before. I'm trying to figure out where and why. I'm pretty sure I've seen this position. even recently maybe, but I cannot figure out what the context was. So what do we have here? We would like to play, like, what are the possible threats that we can generate? EF Rook F7 doesn't make any sense at all because we're trading away one of our most important attacking pieces and not gaining anything in return. And also importantly, like a move like Rook D7 potentially would have been quite interesting here, if not for the fact that we just get mated after we C1 check. And after everything gets taken on C1, this is just mate to our king on A1. So the idea that comes to my mind first here is we probably want to play E6, E7. Yeah, exactly, E7 by elimination, pretty much. And the point is, after Rook takes E7, we will be playing Rook C1 and winning material. My problem is I don't quite see what the counterplay is. I don't really understand what black is even playing after E7. So I guess, just as in the practical game, we just play E7 and we wait for the machine to play something in E5. Yeah. At some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't, like, it's a weird one here, right? Because, yeah, I don't want to go on a rant, like, soon-ish, but, like, if you suspect the question is annoying, why are you asking it? And also, this is a completely different channel which has nothing to do with the course, so I do feel a little bit miffed about this entire thing, but soonish. So yeah, and here the point, of course, is that after Rook D8 check, King G7, black is threatening to take on E7, and also still threatening Queen C1 mate. So we go E7, E8, knight, and we win. So this covers our under promotion series, and I think we are timing this well enough so that we can. No, you don't need to apologize. I understand that my reaction is not very reasonable as well. It's a perfectly fair question. Although, I mean, the big problem with it I have right now is that really we are, like, I'm probably not supposed to do much self-promotion here outside of my self-promotion in terms of my work as part of chess. But yeah, soon. It's almost done. We have just enough time to solve another set on a different topic, and never apologize to Peter, it's against the rules. Nizaki knows what the rules are. We are all sorry that he was sorry. Yeah, something along those lines, yeah. So yeah, there is a set of things here I selected. Yeah, after King G8, I suspect it's actually kind of boring. I don't think we have mate. I think we just take on C7 and win. How did you get permission for so many logos on your shirt? Dodgy with the burning questions of the day. Yeah, I think probably the cleanest way to win the position would be to play like Rook C8, Rook C8, Knight F6 check, and then simply Knight takes C4 and just say we have more pieces. Why don't you resign? Anyway, just to show you what I had lined up, there is this series by Vidit on Zugzwang, which I, like, legit, I am not sure I can solve it. Like, even this puzzle already feels to me like I can very easily fail to solve it altogether. So I was not looking forward to trying to do it with you guys. But the amount of time we spent finding under promotions, we can just do this, which is the highest ranked stalemate series by once again by Vidit. And then we will have just enough time to play some banter, and we will have to solve the horrible endgames of songs, that is. I'm doing okay, Neil. I'm actually doing much better than I've been doing for the entire day, because I've had like some kind of a persistent annoying headache for the entire day, which was extremely annoying considering I have to record videos more or less non-stop, and it was making it very, very uncomfortable to even think about recording videos, and then I had to stream. But I finally solved it by opening Windows and lying in darkness under the freezing St. Petersburg wind for about an hour. I seem to be alive right now. So once again, the issue here is that you can't see it because you only see the board and the text on the right, but the text on the left says stalemate master. So these will be the 5 puzzles on the topic of stalemate, which once again very much helps you solve. And Ericsson has the right idea. I don't know what the other 4 are, but I have seen this one, and I have seen it on my screen for long enough that I think I solved it. Knowing that it's stalemate kind of gives you the idea that we have to somehow give away the pawn on g3. And also, like in the starting position, it's very easy to get to some kind of a point here because the moves you're making are just the only moves you can make. Black is threatening mate in 2. So you have to start giving checks. Rook g8 check doesn't do anything. So we do this. Now we also have only one sensible check left. And this is where, like, if I didn't have the knowledge that this is a stalemate study, it probably would have taken me longer. But knowing that, I think, once again, just by process of elimination, you play g4, and I'll give you, chat, like, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute to solve the last, very, very last bit here, because the very final move of the study is actually kind of pretty and should take you a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. I did talk about that a little bit, Chess Fan, and it was basically a combination of I'm kind of enjoying being at home right now because I've dreamt of having a dog for my entire life, and we finally have a dog. All of you suggesting rook d5 and then checks like this, you are forgetting the fact that by giving those checks, you actually move the king away from f5. And then we will have the king takes g4 move. So you have to be cleverer than that. So yeah, dog is very exciting. Yeah, I could try showing you the dog, but he goes a little bit crazy. And as usual, the moment I see the right answer in chat, I can just show you the right answer. And here the point is, the checks you wanted to give are very good because they force black to take the queen, which is something you want black to do, because if you give black some time to sort of give us squares for the king, they will probably run away with the king somewhere, and then there will be no stalemate. But the point about queen c8 check here is that we are attacking the queen on c1, giving black no choice but to take on c8, and then our remaining two pieces are immobile and strong. Rook d5, queen h5, yeah, gh doesn't work because king takes h5. So this is the first puzzle, and the other 4, yeah, that's actually a very, very good point, Ericsson, that after king f4, queen takes c1 is a check, otherwise rook h3 would have been made. So that's actually a very, very good point, Eric. So let's move to the next one, which I haven't seen, so I will not have a solution ready at hand. Interesting, because I think I've seen this study, but I don't remember. But I also feel that I kind of know how it ends. I think I will give you a hint. I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those self-stalemate studies. Queen c7 would have been a funny way to insist on stalemate. Yeah, that's a good point as well. But the diagram is not wrong. Sure, it is not FIDE approved. Absolutely not. Yeah, this is interesting because how do we go about things? I think I know like what the final setup is, but I'm struggling to figure out why black did not stop it from happening. Do you guys have any ideas? It's too many pieces, too tiring. Yeah. Isn't that a Smyslov study when you put the king on h? I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm just trying to figure out why black cannot stop it. 95 winning. 95 is not winning because bishop takes. There's a bishop on h2 which controls that. I think we can sort of go there step by step. I think we start by playing knight h8 check. They go king g8, and it always felt like it was going to be the start. We go f7. They go king f8. And now the question is, and I'm sort of cheating here because it's a hard study, and I think the instincts players develop just through purely studying and solving studies is like you get an outline of what the final position must be, and then you aim towards it using as a kind of a guiding light, using the understanding that this is probably what the study wants you to do. So, for instance, I don't know why king f8 is a bad move. It feels to me like it should be a very legitimate question why black is not playing king f8. Because if white goes just knight g6 back, maybe we can go king g8 and avoid the idea that white is trying to implement here completely. But you just feel that the study will begin by knight h8, king g8, f7, king f8. And now I even have the idea that we're supposed to play bishop c1. I'm not basing this idea on very much, apart from the fact that I think the point will be we want to play king g6, we want to play king h7, and we want to play g5, g6. And after we've made all of those moves, we want to pass the move to black and claim that even with all the pieces black will have at that point, black will have a lot of pawn pieces on the board, but none of those pieces will be able to give a check to us. And the reason I'm saying bishop c1 and not bishop b4 is that I think we need to block out the back rank. I think eventually this pawn will become a queen, and when it becomes a queen, we cannot possibly afford to give it h1 square to use. Which is why I think the move here is bishop c1, actually. Okay. Interesting. I was actually pretty sure my reasoning was very sound. Maybe we just start with king g6, king h6, king g6, king h7, but then they go a2, a1, and okay, I mean, let's try. So we do this, and I guess we just play g6 here. And in this position, I assume we play bishop h. Ah, this is very beautiful, right? It's actually all three of our pieces. This is more beautiful than I thought, but also I was kind of expecting there to be only two pieces being stalemated on the king side, and it's all three. The question for me would be why in this position black will not play g7, g6. We can try solving it together, but I assume there is some reason. I guess maybe maybe we can go knight h6 and knight e5 check, but without being able to move pieces. Why is there a knight on d3 and a pawn on d4? This is too hard. It is a very hard puzzle. I think you get a sense very early on of where the puzzle is pushing us to go, but still, solving it properly, and I think by solving it properly, in my mind, I would need to, once I see this position, I would need to, without really touching the pieces, to figure out why knight h8, king f8 is a draw, and also why in this position black cannot win by playing g7, g6, and denying us the stalemate. Anyway, next exercise. these ones are like genuinely very difficult, but what I want to say is I wanted to choose the expert mode for this, but the expert mode we actually solved on Streamwise, and because of that I chose this. This one is quite cute. I think I solved it, but I'll let you guys. G6 Bishop C3. Bishop F4 and white is Bishop F4 is such a beautiful move. Nicely, yeah. I actually want to show this because it's such a beautiful kind of a what's the theme? Yeah, in this position. If Black plays G6, we play Bishop F4, luring this Bishop to F4 because Knight takes F4 we win the B pawn. So G6, Bishop F4, Bishop takes F4. We take on G6 with check, King F7, we take on F4, and then we actually win our own pawn on D8 and we have a very good position. Very good. Okay, here. Once again, knowing that this is a stalemate puzzle should be helping us quite a bit. Knowing that it is a stalemate puzzle, I think you very early on you should be able to figure out that at least part of the solution probably is the idea of playing King H8, F1, probably Queen, right? And then we go Rook G1, Queen takes G1, and the King on H8 has no squares. The issue with it currently is that there's this Knight on F4, which means that if we do it immediately, we just lose like idiots because it's not stalemate if we still have the Knight. So we have to find a way to give this Knight away, so to speak, without compromising our original idea. And I think the solution here is we're kind of running out of time. So I will, when I solve something, and I think these are difficult enough for me to just tell you what the plan is and then show you the solution as I think the solution is. I think the idea here is to go Knight C3 check. And in this position we have to go Knight D1. Because we want the king on the back rank and we want to stop F1 for now. So we play Knight D1, to have Knight E3 check if this is a queen, forcing King takes D1, and then we go King H8, F1, and G1. F1 is actually a mistake. I think, like in terms of what Black should try in this position, you should play King E2. But the solution is still this. No, we have Rook G2. Sorry, yeah, I'm being stupid. I thought King E2 was forcing Rook G1 anyway, but it's all the same because we can play Rook. Hang on a second. What happens if Black plays King E1 here? I guess we play. Hang on a second. What happens if Black plays King E1? Maybe Rook A8? Because Rook G1, F takes Bishop is definitely not a solution. I guess we can play Rook G2 and then Rook G1. And other squares in this position are not good for Black at all, because if you go in this direction, or immediately to B2, there's 91 check, or Rook A8, and then 91 check. And if you go to C1, we can play 92, 93, and we're also pretty fine. And Bishop H3, we can simply go Rook F8. If the bishop goes anywhere, Rook F8 immediately makes it wrong. Next. Yeah, I don't think Black even gets Rook and Bishop versus Rook, right? Because if you put a Rook on F1 here, I can play Rook G1 anyway. And I can trade rooks. Otherwise you just play F1 Rook and you win this Rook and Bishop against Rook, because I think every time I watch it being played these days, I see the Rook and Bishop just win. I think I've seen more Rook and Bishops being won than being drawn recently. So yeah, next one. Hang on a second. That was actually a valid question. Hang on a second. So Knight C3, King C2, Knight G1, King G1. How does Black stop us from trading our Rook after Rook A8? I guess. Hang on a second. That's a very good question. I guess King C1, right? So if I play Rook A8 here, Black plays King C1, And then, after rook a1 check, they have bishop b1. And f1 is already a threat, so we actually lose. Yeah, I will never forget your Fabi's rook and bishop in 2016 candidates. Yeah, and neither will Fabi. And famously, my best friend in the entire world, Lawrence Trent, supposedly broke his phone by throwing it really hard against the wall when he saw Fabi. Because I defended quite well for like 35 moves, and then I actually blundered into a Philidor position and was lost for a short while. But we were both playing basically on increment by that point, and Fabi did not eventually win that game. Okay, this one. This one is curious because, once again, it feels like we know how this begins, but it says stalemate in the title. And this is what's confusing me the most, because obviously our only counterplay here, we're bishop down, so our only counterplay here is trying to win the a-ball. So we obviously need to stop bishop takes g3 and bishop d8. So once again, due to this already being almost an hour into the stream, I will show you like what my instincts are telling me what the first move is. We need to block this deck. Now black obviously wants to play d3 and then bishop g1 once again completely stopping our a-ball. So we play king d3 and we play a5. Ah, okay. I mean, I'm just an idiot because this final position is wrong. It's kind of annoying that it doesn't take on a7, showing us that this is a stalemate. I actually didn't realize the bishop gets to b8 at the time. It's a very beautiful stalemate, to be entirely honest. The king on d3 being completely stopped by this pair of pawns and king. But I was being extremely stupid because I honestly thought, but how does black stop us from actually getting a queen on the board? And until the engine played d5 against me, I didn't realize the pawn actually doesn't win. And this one, I feel like we will be playing f4, and then we will somehow be playing bishop f6 check somehow. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how. Stalemates are ugly, not beautiful. I don't agree. I mean, there's the whole, rabbit hole of discussing Nigel Short's proposal of giving more points to the side that gives stalemate and so on. But, stalemate studies can be exceptionally beautiful in my opinion. So what's going on here? We also has a-pawn. Yeah, we need to play a4. But I think the beginning is we cannot possibly afford to allow this. Hang on a second. No, wait up. This, what? I think I solved it, but it's just such a bizarre study. Black is threatening g takes f3. Black is also threatening rook a6 check. Both of those things will immediately end the game. So I'm guessing the study is telling us that we have to play bishop f6 check, ef and f4. But my problem is, this one I solved. Now I know how the draw is made. But my question is, what happens if black doesn't give this check? What happens if black, let's say, plays rook c8 or something like that? And that is, still somewhat confusing me. I'm guessing we go king g6, h6, h7. And if black decides to still go after the h5 pawn, we'll come to a very similar position. This is not even very difficult because we have no choice. We go king g7, force black to take, and we play a4 here. Rook g5 check, king, no, okay, hang on a second. It needs to be king h, hang on. King h8, yes, right? King h5, king h7, and king h8 again, and now king g7, and king h8 again. And the point here is, black would like to play king h6 here, but this is a stalemate. Rook g5, king h7 repeats the position, and black just cannot really exit this box on the king side without giving us stalemate or losing the rook, neither of which is particularly great. So I think it's actually it might actually be even solvable in a practical game, simply because you just have no choice. But I think in the practical game you would still struggle to even seriously consider this position after check EF and F4, because it's just very difficult to force yourself to continue calculating here, because it looks like you have to be lost, right? It looks like you cannot possibly hold this position, but yeah, very, very beautiful study. And the final finesse of having actually to play king h8 here instead of king h7, because if you play king h7 here, black will play king h5, king h8, and king g6, and then they will actually come out of the corner. So the final decision needed here in playing king h8, and king h7 is quite good. Anyway, king h7 is it's a kind of an opposition, exactly. Yeah, it's not your usual type of opposition, but it definitely is a kind of an opposition study in the end. And this concludes the solving part of the stream. I will now switch to a different overlay, and you can finally start sending challenges to allboard@asparachair.com. And we can play some chess. Hi, Bishop. What shall we play? Let's play some knight dwarfs. Or at least try to play some knight dwarfs. I'm not particularly well aware of this particular version of the... Really? Okay then. But I mean, how good can this be with the bishop not even on c4? This shouldn't be a very good version of the more, I would assume. There's still going to be some compensation, but this really does feel a little bit like a self-inflicted wound. I probably shouldn't be allowing e4, e5 so comfortably here. I could have played queen a5 instead. I could have played h6, but I think rook c8 is the first really kind of autopilot move I've made in this position, and I'm regretting it. I should still be better, but I have a feeling I could have been more better. Yeah, okay, I mean, this is obviously a misclick. Yeah, now I would like to just completely pass the move. I will make some, like, semi-reasonable move here, just to give my opponent the closest to the position he would have gotten here anyway, because obviously queen e4 was a misclick, and I was playing for e6. My pawn should be on a7 here in a normal game, but a6 I think is the closest I can come in this position to a complete pass, saying, your move, sir. Yeah, I don't know what to do about this, though. I think I'm going to suggest to Omkar that he should probably clean his mouse or something. I don't know. Is there anybody in this chat who even knows what cleaning your mouse is? Is there anyone here old enough to realize what I'm talking about? I don't know how to pass in this position. Like, queen takes e7 is a possible move, but I don't know. How am I supposed not to take this queen? I'm sorry, Omkar, but like, once was enough. Yeah, the old style ball mice. I definitely remember them. I remember you were supposed to clean them with like alcohol spirit was the suggestion. You take a little bit of cotton wool and some 100% spirit, and you take it out very carefully and you dab it with the thing. Any opinion on Djokovic in Australia? Many opinions, but plenty of opinions actually, but I don't know if my opinions really matter. I'm a very firm believer in the idea of not everybody needing to express every single opinion. Sorry, Peter, I don't know why Queen was so happy to move. Yeah, I don't know. I apologize. I tried not taking it, but I felt like after Queen e6 it was just so difficult not to make a move that I kind of gave up. I'll play g6 because it restricts the knight on g3. I will say that I think theoretically white has to take on f6 here, go on knight d5, d3, this knight goes to c3, and so on. The position I got is like an absolute dream. And now I can even force this knight all the way to h1. So yeah, this is going really, really well for black, obviously. It's an absolute dream position in these types of structures. Once again, generally speaking, just allowing me to connect the knights here with knight d7, I believe is supposed to be a mistake. Even with the knight on some kind of a normal square like d2, I would be quite happy with this position, I think. With the knight on h1, it's obviously a sight to behold. You probably kind of close your eyes and try to push for some f4 just to bring it back into the game, but it will not be particularly pleasant. It's not really the topic of this show, Vishal. I've sort of, in bits and pieces, I've answered that question in interviews and so on, but it's kind of a weird question, even at the best of times, and it's also not really very relevant to the task at hand. This is a good sequence of moves, stopping queen e6, queen e2, and then playing f4. I would like to address a well-played in my opponent in regards to those two moves. I probably should have been more precise here, because somehow I'm not winning here, I think, and this is annoying me greatly, because it felt like with white having to play knight h1 at some point, I should just be winning straight out of the opening, but I don't think I am. I didn't like allowing a fight, but it's obviously a concession. I'm still going to be a bit better here, but it's nowhere near as big an advantage as I assumed I would have. I disagree with the rook takes, though. I think it had to be the bishop. Hang on a second, h4 is hanging. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, unnecessarily. I'm going to try for a little bit of a trick here. It's not a very clever trick, though. So I'm very much in two minds as to, yeah, f1 is a very sassy move. This is the trick I was talking about, and I could play this move against pretty much anything my opponent chose to do. But I think, because it was happening anyway, apart from rook f2, it was better just to play knight f2 and have the knight in play and the king on a less weird square. After knight h5, you really are supposed to play bishop d7, bishop takes d6, But with the king on f1, I think he's completely lost. With knight on f2, I wasn't even sure I was so much better. And what we got in the game, I think I'm reviewing once again, because this is hanging, and there's no way for white to prevent very heavy material losses. So yeah, for those of you unaware how this works, the challenges only really come through when I finish playing. So you kind of have to time your challenges by waiting for you to finish the game and then issuing the challenge more or less straight away. Are all Australian courts kangaroo courts? Who do you think will win the Grand Prix? I have no idea. It will be very, very exciting to watch, and also, I was sort of regretting not qualifying for it anyway. Like, I mean, it seems like an obvious statement to make, but feel like I should be making it anyway, obvious or no. But I became even more. This is probably already a misplay, right? The line I was planning to play, I shouldn't play 97 there at all, right? Like I shouldn't just. Yeah, that was not great. Whoa. I'm being pressured theoretically here. This is bringing back very unpleasant memories. This is like, I remember looking at this when the theory of the English attack was just being developed, thinking these positions are excellent for white and I should try to get them for white. I don't think I've ever gotten them for white. I got some of those with black though, and they are not fun. Knight b7 I think is a bit annoying. So I think I was like, specifically, if I'm trying to play what I was trying to play, I think I'm supposed to play b5 before here. I don't know. It only, like, it's weird to me that the complaints about volume are only coming in now, because I've been streaming for like an hour and a half and people weren't really saying anything. Yesipenko is a dark horse. Yeah, I mean, he would be if he was playing, right? Even. I think the whole, brouhaha with the statement by Galia Kayakina, who made a kind of a strong statement in support of Yesipenko. That was all precisely to do with the fact that he ended up not getting the wild card. Which I think is kind of regrettable. It's not that the people who got the wild card don't deserve the wild card, but I think Andre is a very, very exciting young talent, and all of us would very much like to watch more of him play. This is kind of tricky because we might actually still get mated on the queen side. Oh, sorry, yeah, on the king side, but it's with the king on h1, I'm less worried about f4 or f5 because I can play bishop 7, so I will try to distract my opponent with some counterplay on the queen side, but generally speaking, the problem is not even that I'm getting mated, even though I might be getting mated in the fullness of time. It's just that it's going to be very difficult to generate any kind of counterplay at all. And that normally ends up being very, very bad news in positions like this. I'm including bishop f8 because I need to be able to meet g6 somehow without the pawn e6 hanging. So I'm just connecting, yeah, exactly. I'm expecting g6 in this position, and I need to have an answer to it, which doesn't involve me losing the e6 pawn. No, we're not winning. We are barely surviving here. We might actually survive. Because I think my opponent is not giving mate in the most efficient way possible. d5 with bishop b7, like white always plays e4, f5. White. This type of counterplay is telegraphed enough so that white, if they know what they're doing, should always be able to beat by playing e4, e5 and stopping it that way. That guy has GM on his name, of course, he's destroying me. Fair point, yeah, fair point. I can't really. Rook d2 is a very strong move, by the way, I missed it completely. Not only Rook h2, which I'm kind of ready for by playing knight h5, but also Rook dg2 is worrying me right now. I'm not sure about this because it gives white d5 square for this knight, but I need to start pushing back. I need to start gaining some space somewhere. Yeah, all of this is very logical, but I do have some counterplay now, and also I'm not really getting mated. Even if the g6 pawn falls, it's not made yet, and I have some play of my own. Queen takes a3 is now a very serious threat that it's actually surprisingly annoying, I think, for white to respond to. I think 95 is probably the way to go with like 97 check ideas, but I don't think that works. I think I might be doing quite well now. Because if white has to spend a tempo on something like rook f2, I will be sort of firmly in control. Even rook takes c2 might be able to reply to that, and I don't have to. It's just something that I would consider. This is a decent move. It's much stronger than any of the rook moves because it's still hanging and I don't have any immediate ways of following things up. I will just drive the knight away to a5 and then kind of continue thinking. d7, rook f8 might be an idea. I just need to have a good reply to knight f5, and those moves aren't really it. We could just go knight f4, I suppose. This is still trickier than you would expect, I think. I have plenty of time though because it's a 5-minute game. I'll try this. There's a very specific reason why I'm doing this, which might not be the best reason in the world, but it's something. I missed rook g5. There's a clever tactic here, but I like this. This is very cute. I like this. I didn't see this, but it actually works out. Yeah, that was a satisfying finish to the game. It was coldly planned all along. No, I'm not that type of person. This appears to be a Sicilian playing name, but not an either anymore. I don't know. I'll play something that is less mainliney here, so to speak. I think after knight c3, black is supposed to play d6. I think d6 is arguably the main move in this position. My knowledge of this theory is extremely dated. I haven't really looked at this properly in absolute donkey's years. Getting a challenge in is tricky. I will grant you that. Getting a challenge in is legitimate. Should we just go knight g5 here and punt? Probably not yet. The time for punting has not come yet. Yeah, this is the issue with what I'm trying to achieve here, is that Black can just very happily play bishop c6, and if I play f4, then the take on the capture on c4 will be very playable. And if I don't play f4, why have I played knight e1? I think the biggest takeaway here is that knight e1 was a should move. Stuart Road is a should move. That's a very that's a very niche reference. And I completely missed the fact that d5 isn't playable. I'm not really on my best behavior here. Yeah, knight g2 e3 was about what I was dreaming of, but now that my opponent played d5 already, I don't think we are legitimately justifying any of that crap. What is knight? Yeah, I was kind of hoping to play f4, but I absolutely agree with the question mark. Knight e1 was not a good move. I generally have not played this game particularly well so far. I'm hoping my fortunes will slightly pick up in the second half. We still kind of want to play 1993, even though it doesn't really have anywhere near the same impact here that we were hoping for earlier. This is actually not that bad. I mean, I'm not ecstatic about my chances here, but I think things would have gone a lot worse than this position. Rook d8 is also perhaps giving me some additional hope, although maybe I'm unjustly critical of this move. It's perfectly fine. I'd like this knight to be on d5, but I also would like to restrict as much counterplay as possible. Counterplay. I'm the one looking for counterplay here. Who are we kidding? Yeah, 5 definitely is a problem. This is like positionally, it's sort of kind of healthy, but not very healthy. And I quite like knight 4 because now my knight is very, very securely locked out from the squares it wants to occupy. My opponent is playing very well, although I will say, in terms of ambitiousness, I think taking with this pawn was maybe more ambitious. And now we grind. You can definitely imagine White eventually winning this position somehow. If, let's say, all rooks come off and I make some progress on the inside. I don't know what that progress is though. And you might be able to hear idiots firing firecrackers outside, which is, I wouldn't say, I mean, it might feel a little bit unfair to say this is kind of unique to. Yeah, that's a very, very poor move. I should have played rook e8 and rook e1 first and then played h4, because now there's going to be a rook on e3, and I'm not going to have any ways of dealing with it. Yeah, that was like idiotic. Really, really idiotic. We're still kind of okay, because the rook on e3 is not, like, it's going to be somewhat, what's the word, ornamental. But, yeah, I should have done it in the other order. Now, what I was going to say is that, basically, January until more or less January, like, 14th, because there's also this uniquely Russian thing called the Old New Year, which is basically the New Year's celebration by the Gregorian calendar, or maybe the other way around. I'm forgetting which one is which. Yeah, we now have a very nice pawn structure, but the pawn on c4 is tiny, so I don't know if we So I don't know if we like. Why not rook e1 instead of b4? Because rook e3, and I don't want to be taking e3. I thought that was reasonably well understood. So yeah, until the old new year, which is in a week yet, people still feel like the holiday season is very much in full swing. So you get the people with fireworks outside every evening, and I mean, I wouldn't be a huge fan anyway, but now that we are dog owners, I feel like I am sort of particularly incensed by the whole thing, because dogs obviously don't enjoy fireworks all that much. I have not seen the Mobsters today's game. What did he do? This is a kind of a weird position, because I think I managed to screw it up like as much as was humanely possible. But because of how strong the knight on d3 is, I'm probably still doing fine, which is kind of remarkable. I don't know why I provoked h5. I need to go after the h6 pawn anyway. So that seems like a pretty strange decision. I don't... There's no hard rule here. I just feel like we probably shouldn't be, engaging in hard promotion of other platforms I might do some work for. And in general, like the question, when I'm quite clearly doing ambassadorial work for Kasparov Chess as we speak, the question of whether I am still affiliated with Chess24 feels a bit weird. I don't know what this is like the first move in a while that I severely disagree with. I think Rook G1 check was very much required, and now I think I'll go Rook H8 because I want to be able to. Yeah, and that clearly wasn't the way to go. You don't have time for this. I guess my pawn was running out of time there. So, as the policy always is, I'm trying to accept challenges from people I haven't played before. So, for those regulars who keep on sending me challenges, if I only get the names I recognize, I will pick some of you. But in general, I'm trying to give the game to more people. So, Sven and others who I can see challenging there in the list. I'm just giving you fair warning that your chances are smaller for a game than some of the new usernames I might notice. Maybe is Grunfeld still playable? It might be. Yeah. E3 is not a wrong move in itself, Eric, but there are different E3 lines. In particular, like in this position, I think having played E3, you're supposed to do the bishop, the knight on B1. What in my mind is called the Grishukun, where I think he was the first player to seriously start doing that. You play bishop e2, you play castles, you save on move 93 for as long as possible, meaning that black cannot play e5, cd5, 95, and have the knight on c3 to trade into e1 plays e3, e4. I don't know, I'll just cash this in. I don't think I need to, but I think cashing this in is not a mistake. I don't know why my opponent took on d4. You could take on d7 and then reevaluate. I think in general, just giving up this bishop like this without a fight is unlikely to be the right thing to do. Here, two instincts are fighting inside me. One is to play 7-5 first, supporting the bishop on d4, and one is to play 7-6 because you basically want to restrain the bishop on a3 as much as possible. And yeah, I cannot decide which one is stronger. I think the restraining one wins out. Knight c4 was definitely an idea, but I didn't like the jumps that happened after that. But I definitely considered it. so it's a good spot by you, right? Cash in after T as well. Yeah, why would you? This should be ban worthy, Eric, right? Quoting Shane unprovoked should be at least a timeout, right? Maybe not an immediate ban, but should be at least a timeout. Yeah, now I suddenly, like, Queen to Queen 1 is just very difficult for me to explain. I'm pretty sure I was a little bit better here, but now I'm a fully savage. Really, I have no business being a savage. Actually, maybe 95 saves to be, so 92, yeah. 92 is, now it's not a piece, it's an exchange, but I'm still. Queen on this side is too heavy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I obviously was. Yeah, the pawns are also very heavy because I was clearly planning to play f5, restricting knight 4, and then I didn't for some reason. Okay, let's take on a2 after all this time. Pawns need to be arrow shaped to remind us they can't go back. Fully agree. Another brilliant game. You won. Steel theory, yeah, absolutely. Whoa. I might actually have to abort this one because we're just not playing a 10-minute game. The challenges came a little bit too fast. I was accepting a different one. I apologize to Gary's king, but yeah, this one, hang on a second, where is it? That's not the thing. That's awfully wrong. Yeah, apologies for this, but I'm just not accepting a 10-minute challenge because that would be basically the remainder of the stream, and we don't really want to be doing that. Thanks for that, Socrates, and yeah, there was some mention of, I appear to be like the last middle-aged, pasty white person who does not have a podcast, so, I'm clearly doing something wrong. And that needs to be corrected. I actually played some of this with white recently, and I'm trying to figure out what the solution was. What was the solution? Such an oof. I think you were supposed to play 5d5, and then there's some things. Those are the technical terms. Eric with some moderately hot takes there. I think for some reason you're supposed to go knight b1, but I can't for the life of me figure out why. And this is not bad for white at all. It's extremely playable. The entire line is actually extremely playable, which shocked me myself. But yeah, it's you can definitely do this if you want. Always like g6, knight 6 better. The fact is, shockingly, I'm not sure you're guaranteed to equalize in those positions. the whole thing, I'm just as incensed by the unfairness of it all as you are, but like legitimately this is playable and unclear, and if you don't go for this line, you might not equalize. H5 may have been an overestimation of my chances. I was planning to take on f5 and put d5 here, but now that we got to this position, I am not enjoying it all that much. I think I still have to do it though. Yeah, I understand. I actually clicked around for like an hour or a bit more to get a sense of what's going on here, Ali, and decided that at least against the moves which are supposedly the best moves here, I convinced myself that this is good for black. It becomes very very sharp. It's not trivial at all, but I convinced myself that it's good. Like I clearly misplayed here because white will actually be able to assume firm control of the e4 square, and I think I will be at least a little bit worse here. I didn't play it correct. I think the mistake was move h5. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do something else because, on top of everything else, I now have to worry about losing this pawn. I don't like f3 though. I think f3 may be the first mistake my opponent made in this game because now I have all of these things working in my favor, and also rook g8. Rook g8 knight takes h5 kind of bugs me though, so I need to evaluate it properly. I could just castle and postpone the decision until sort of a later date. I don't know. How will you control e4 without the 3? I think queen e2 is quite playable. I thought just playing queen e2 and then e4 was quite strong. Even queen f3 is actually worth mentioning. I don't know if it's good move, but it was definitely a move you could make. The real first mistake of your opponent is challenging your grandmaster. I don't think so. I think that was a reasonable choice. I didn't like f3 is not unplayable. I'm not going to harshly criticize it, but I thought there may have been strong moves. Yeah, I think we don't care about the king pawn that much. I think we want control over the e4 square more than we want to preserve it in g2. But once again, I'm not 100% convinced in my assessments here. And honestly, the more I look at this position, the more I think maybe there's just like no real reason to criticize this even. It's completely fine. Yeah, Ben would definitely be sharply critical of this. Sure. King e7, yeah, I mean, King e7 is a move I maybe would even make if I considered it for 3 seconds, but bringing the rook to g8 is. Oh, hang on, it's my. Why is it? What? Ah, yeah, it's okay, yeah, thank you, and that was just a little bit buggy because I heard the sound, but the position didn't update for me because I was showing you variations from the previous position. Yeah, this is now a little problem because the position was difficult to play as is, and I also now have 20 seconds. But thanks for that, Sven, because I definitely I could see that it's strange that my opponent is not making a move, but my opponent actually did make a move. Yeah, fish 6 here is not the best move in resistance, but I'm just trying to play quickly now because I just like the idea of taking flag. Yeah, this is not great because Prince looking now is quite strong, and I was hoping for rook c8, rook c5, rook c8, but that doesn't quite work out for me tactically, I think. So yeah, may have been a bit suboptimal. Just as this probably was suboptimal as well. Yeah, I'm kind of panicking here. I actually have increment here. I don't need to be in such a state of blind panic about everything. I should have realized this is actually a 3+2 game, which it actually says on my screen, so I definitely had all the clues available to me. Yeah, this is quite scary, but I do have my own counterplay. I'm not sure I'm even doing that for you. It's kind of a weird position because I definitely have quite a lot of counterplay against the white king, and also I seem to have stabilized on the clock, which was sort of first task. I think I'm actually winning because I have a very, very strong move. Next move, this move. Oh shit! It's not. I'm actually losing now. God damn it! Oh, why didn't I do? Yeah, I'm being an idiot again. There's knight h3 there. What am I doing? And queen f7 threatens mate on d7 as well. Queen takes d3 was very, very strong instead of this. Yeah, I threw this game all over again, basically. I was already doing quite well, I think, and then I just decided to rethrow the game for no particular reason. Became a little bit too excited about this idea of queen f2. Yeah, I might win on time now, which will be a kind of a delicious irony if I end up winning this game on time, but yeah, I'm going to be harsh here and not take the draw by repetition after king a8, which is, I think, slightly unfair, but not too unfair. h4 is not a particularly bright move, but I just kind of wanted to threaten h3 for future reference. It might be useful. Yeah, we lucked out here, but it is what it is. I guess a couple more. A couple more, and then we call it a day. I want to try out something that I've looked at myself a little bit with Kirill when we were looking at the French, and also there's been some exciting games in these lines, which I wanted to try to experience for. Is this clever or? I wanted to give up this pawn on d4, but in order for that to be a good idea, I think black needs to waste more tempi, so I think we kind of have to do this now. And this is like, this pawn sacrifice still exists, but it's not the one I want to play. And I also don't really know any theory here, which is, I think, going to present its own challenges. I think a6 is correct, and I wish I knew something about how to follow this up. This is not that bad, but I think you're advised to know a little bit about this before playing it. But mainly, I mean, after bishop d7, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to play bishop d2, and I even know some theory about bishop d7, bishop d2. I had a very set idea of what I wanted to achieve from this game, and playing all theory I wasn't all that excited about. Wasn't really on the list. Can't beat Stockfish level 1 LP. I don't actually know how difficult that is. That is to say, I'm not sure I can beat Stockfish level 1 these days. Anything with the word Stockfish in it kind of scares me. This is now a pretty decent outcome for White, honestly. It could definitely have gone a lot worse. I think on the previous move, Queen d4, g4 may have been a very strong move. I blundered bishop c5. Okay. I take everything back. This is still going horribly, and I'm an idiot. Completely blunder bishop c5. How do you, like, it's the only move in the position. How do you blunder the absolute only idea your opponent has? Oof. It's some kind of a special prize for this here. I can give you a lesson if you want. Yeah. You have been. I think they're succeeding. Yeah. I kind of want to play g4 here. Like, how stupid is that? I mean, it's pretty stupid, honestly. But I don't know if there is anything in this position which is not stupid. Which is kind of interesting. G4 is very... The issue with G4 is that black can just go knight g8, knight g7, and just does nothing. I'll play it just for the hell of it, but it's not good. You can also just like wait for a move and then knight g8 only after I chase it away. Honestly, I don't think so, Sven. I think it's just a move. It's probably more of a question mark than exclamation. But I think my position is kind of not fun anyway. I think if we want to talk about how to play this, like if you actually want to play it properly, you probably play h3 to stop ideas of knight g4, then you go queen d2, knight d2, you hope that maybe one day this knight gets to d4, and you have some position optimization with the pawn, but yeah, it's not going to be fun. This is most likely also not going to be fun, but in a whole different way. I think this is a good reaction, yeah. Bishop 6. I was looking at Rook c8, Bishop 6 is kind of a very similar move, very similar ideas, which we endorse. I'm trying to find a way to even like throw something at my opponent here that might, make him confused for 3 seconds, and honestly coming up short. I don't really know how to generate a threat here. My pieces are all of them basically not where they need to be. We discussed it a little bit, Elvis. He got some help from me. He obviously got some help from Blizzard, who did some coaching. They also gave him a full collection, of course, which is kind of useful when He started off with basically no particular knowledge of the game, but a full collection and like limitless dust, meaning that he would craft whatever deck he liked. And then they started looking for a deck that he would actually like. And I think, yeah, the idea for him to play Token Druid should be credited to Jan Komish, who was also at some point drafted into the whole enterprise. You should have said that if your student plays video games, you just quit with him. Yeah, that's probably why we never worked together. I actually kind of regret that we were in discussions to have a couple of sessions, because he is one of the rare people in chess world right now who is claiming to not just be like a very good practical player who can pass on some knowledge. He is making a claim to have understood something about the game that nobody else has understood. He is claiming that he pioneered some very, very new approaches of thinking about the game, which is extremely valuable if it is true. And judging by how much success his pupils generally have had recently, I suspect it's at least part true. So working with him would have been very interesting, but it just kind of never happened because of scheduling issues and also the moment we started talking about those things, I was already in kind of a stage of my career where coaching did not seem like the most important thing in the world. I want to play g6, and I want to play g6 in such a way that my pieces are not tied to anything. Hence, this kind of a very strange maneuver where I was trying to get the queen away from pinning my knight. And now I actually have some definite initiative on the inside. Whoa, is this a move you can make? Surely not. Yeah, I don't know why you're so convinced it's nonsense, Oscar. The list of people who worked with him and more or less immediately improved is long and very illustrious. I mean, he worked with Fabi, he worked with Anish, he worked with Taimur. All of them, I still on very good terms with him, continue working with him, and you're welcome in the chess. Yeah, I don't know why you just immediately assume it's not right. I definitely made no such assumptions. I honestly thought it might be extremely beneficial to me hang on a second. This is kind of tricky because I think the current thinking here is you're supposed to take, and from the black side, you're supposed to start with bishop to 7 to avoid this line altogether. Maybe I am wrong. Because I think this line is now supposed to be extremely dangerous. Thanks for hanging out, Sven, and hope to see you again sometime. Yeah, it's normally... Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is not the move order in which this is so important. And bishop b7 is, of course, a vastly superior move to move h6, after which there is bishop b5, f4, 5 queen, 3 line that is trying to get. So what do we do here? I guess we go h4 and just proceed from there. Yeah, I think I kind of out-tricked myself here with move order nonsense. Will you play one game against bots? Probably not. Why would I want to play a game against bots? Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, honestly. If h6, yeah, I was considering taking, but I just kind of dislike parting with my bishop so much that in the end I couldn't convince myself to do it. And I'm doing it in this move order so that my bishop actually survives. Because if I start with f4, e5, bishop 3, then knight g4, eats it up, and this way I get to keep this bishop and then play f3. But I'm not going to be, particularly happy about any of that. My bishop should be on b3 here, and the fact that black played bishop d6 and my bishop is still on f1 is quite discouraging. You really, really need this bishop already on b3. In fact, maybe what I should have done somewhere here is just to play bishop c4 unprovoked. Because without the bishop cementing my queen side, I might just kind of get mated quickly enough to regret my life choices. It's not even d6d5 in itself, even though that also is very much a problem here, of course. It's the fact that my queen side is extremely fair and will be very difficult to protect against potential attacks. I will play king b1 here, kind of hoping maybe this happens somehow. I'm going to be worse after it anyway, but at least I get to maybe trade some pieces, which is useful. The endgame after queen takes 2 is still a little bit better for black anyway, so this is not a huge... You actually, I think, supposed to take the pawn here. It's actually kind of instructive that taking with the pawn to have the f6 f5 break is supposedly better in these types of structures than taking the bishop. There was a very famous game, which I think was the first game to introduce that idea, but I'm struggling to remember who that game was played by. I think, yeah, some Visha game, but against who? I feel like it maybe was like, for some reason the name Sergei Tvyakov is very much on top of my head, but I don't think it was against him. Yeah, unfortunately we cannot take this because of a8, but still, it's, I mean, considering how lost I could have been by this point, this is an improvement. Still not doing all that well, obviously. It's a playable-ish position. I think it was maybe Anand Divanchik, right, from like mid-90s maybe. Possibly from Linares. So what do we do structurally here? Like, I don't want to be playing h5 because g5 is going to be annoying, and g4 doesn't really do very much. I think maybe I actually just play g3, 3 up bishop or something. I don't know. And the other question is, do I actually push c4 here so d5, or do I ignore it? I think I'm probably supposed to play c4 here. I'm not doing it happily because it kills off my own flexibility on the queen side, and rook b4, rook d8 might be an issue. I think I have to. Also this, yeah, this is, I think it limits my problems, but it also very much limits my potential plans. Ivanchuk on 92 Linares, yeah, thanks guys. We almost got there. Not mid-90s, and I think I mixed up the colors, but collectively we pretty much got there. Yeah, I don't know why I provoked a4 so hard. It's not a bad idea at all, but like, I don't know why I basically forced my opponent to make it. So where do my things belong here? I have no idea. My things don't belong anywhere in this position. My things are homeless, stateless. You probably don't send the challenge at all. I'm a very bad chess player because I think this is the last game of the session. I've been streaming for 2 hours. I've been sort of losing my voice even before this stream started, so I think I probably will stumble through this one and then thank everybody who hung out with me for today. And there will be more streams. Other people also stream on this platform. A lot of people have in recent times done at least something for sparkchess.com. I definitely will stream some more in the future. So this is not your last chance, but for today I think we're done. Playing d3 is probably just straight up bad, because for the time being, like, the one good thing I can say about that position is that it's extremely solid. It's very, very difficult to break open, and black doesn't really have easy ways to improve. If I open the A file for them, it might change very quickly. I feel like offering a draw here is maybe not the worst idea in the world, honestly. Oh, that's clever by my opponent and very, very unclever by me because he won. I think I actually have to play this move, ugly as it is, because I cannot possibly allow this to happen. Five f4 might be interesting, but it's also double-edged. Like it's a winning attempt, but it's also potentially something that might give me chances to play for a win. I think if we continue playing, what happens here is that I win on time. But I think my opponent played a good enough game that I'm kind of happy with the idea of just offering a draw here. Because I don't think I outplayed him at all. Just flagging him by just shuffling back and forth, because White also has no active plans. Would have felt kind of meh. Alright, as I mentioned, this is the end of the stream for today. Thanks everybody for hanging out, talking to me, cheering me up, flaming my sartorial choices, and all the good things in life. I'm not sure what the exact plans for January are for people who are interested. I do have a Twitter. Twitter will have some, but for now I am sort of in the salt mines doing the recordings. That probably should end next week, and then I will be slightly freer to other things. The next big thing on the calendar is Vike, which starts in about a week. I may or may not be doing something Vike related. I think it kind of depends on how well the recordings go. But I also will continue doing things for Sparrow Chess. The platform continues growing. The puzzle collections and the lessons and something that is called programs is really coming in force on the website. So do check it out. I think it's a very, very good platform for learning chess, and it's definitely worth your time to see what's available and to perhaps find something that suits what you want out of the chess learning process. Once again, thanks everybody for being here, and I'll see you when I see you. Cheers. I'll leave the raid decisions with the mods. I don't really know what the raiding situation is on this channel, so I'll abide by whatever the mods thinks is the thing to pass. We probably should raid somebody though. But no pressure. I can also just click the stop streaming button and do it that way. Let me check what's going on. We could maybe spread the love a little bit. That's not okay. Yeah, suggestions welcome. Yeah, I'll there's plenty of people who everybody knows, and I don't think I think the way to go about things here would be to rate somebody who is not a huge streamer. But here, I very much like if chat has suggestions, I am very happy to abide by them. Rating Caro, yeah, I mean, I understand the trolling potential of raiding Pharaoh, but let's probably do something else. Ha! Those are all different platforms, but Lenny Garmali is streaming, which is a thing that might be interesting to watch. So Eric is a nice suggestion, but as I said, like, do not send us there. Okay, Randall, if you're against that, we're not going to do that. Let's just do Eric. Eric is good people. Eric is a friend of the show. So I am Eric. I am Rosen is seemingly the chat's vote. Let's just check that he's live, right? Because if he's not live, that would be a bit awkward. I've rated non-live channels before, and it doesn't go well. Yeah, it seems like he is live, so perhaps I don't even know if I have rating privileges. So somebody else will have to do it. Yeah, he's playing bad. Yeah, I found him playing bad in green. So that's fair game. Do I even? I don't think I can even do that. Can I? Yeah. I don't have permissions for raids. So I think this entire 2-minute conversation may have been completely in vain. Because somebody else will have to type the words. Since I'm a pleb when it comes to raiding on this channel. Yeah. Thanks everybody. We will manually go there. That's also a raid, in a way, kind of a strange way. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and I will finally push the stop streaming button.